your right to protest could be in danger thanks to a type of law that's popping up all across Canada. Toronto City Council just passed what's called a bubble zone bylaw, which puts a 50-meter boundary around religious spaces, schools, and childcare centers for certain types of protest. And we're seeing proposals and laws like this passed across the GTA and in other large cities in Ontario. Those pushing for the law, including pro-Israel lobby groups and many Jewish organizations, say that they want to protect synagogues and other Jewish institutions, in particular because of political events or demonstrations that are happening near those spaces related to Israel's ongoing siege of Gaza. Now, the law's supporters tend to cast Palestine solidarity protests as a threat to Jewish safety. Many other groups, including civil liberties organizations, Palestine solidarity groups, and progressive Jewish groups, say that this is all a smokescreen and that the real reason for the bubble zones is to put a chill on political dissent, especially as it relates to Palestine solidarity. Critics also point out that there are already laws to deal with violent or threatening behavior, and that for those who are worried about a protest escalating to violence, mischief, the blocking of a religious ceremony, or threats, that all of these things are already covered by the criminal code. Now, it's one thing to propose a law like this because people are being prevented by protests from accessing a building or a public space, but there's very little evidence that that's been happening. Most Palestine solidarity demonstrations take place in major streets, public squares, or parks. What is happening is that people often feel uncomfortable with public demonstration or simply don't agree with it. But that discomfort isn't a reason to limit people's right to free expression. Another important point is that when these demonstrations do occur outside of religious spaces, they focus on the political uses of those spaces, not on cultural or religious ones. For example, last year, a Thornhill synagogue held an event advertising the sale of occupied land in the West Bank. That is, land that has been illegally occupied by Israel. This wasn't a religious event. It was one that actively encouraged and facilitated land theft from Palestinians. Now, you can understand why people think that kind of event should draw criticism and protest, but local bylaws for bubble zones threaten to make such demonstrations illegal and subject to a fine. I've written about all of this in my most recent piece for The Breach, and you can find a link to that in our bio.